This week, Lord Mayor Lisa Scaffidi responded to the Vincent Mayor's accusations.
Treasurer Dr Mike Nahan warned utility prices might go up as the state battles record debt.
The Transport Minister inspected the new Butler train station.
And Canada in grief after 5 people were murdered at a house party at a Calgary university.
We will never recover from this, but the collective support has helped some of the pain.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lung and Daniel Staniskov.
Good evening. First this week, Perth Lord Mayor Lisa Scaffidi explained why City of Perth approved a new boundary proposal which includes parts of Subiaco and Cambridge. Her comment comes after Vincent Mayor John Kerry accused the Perth City Council of being arrogant. Kate Nuttall reports.
There has been dispute over the recent proposed boundary expansion of Perth, carving up parts of the city of Vincent. But Perth City's Council's idea has suffered a severe backlash from the Mayor of Vincent, John Kerry. This week, Lord Mayor Lisa Scaffidi justified the argument.
We came to a unanimous decision that we feel the area of Subiaco that is of most relevance to us is the area closest to the city, and we also saw an area in Cambridge as being relevant to provide or to bring to the city the relative communities of interest that focus on our original strategy.
The boundary expansion is aimed to increase Perth City's global status and to be recognised as a global and dynamic city. Perth's total land area is only 8.1 square kilometres. With the expansion, it would take the city's total land area to 30.6 square kilometres. John Kerry argued that Perth Council was cherry-picking assets from around its borders.
I think they just want big assets. They want casinos, they want hospitals, they want universities, but they don't want what they see is the trouble with the population. They don't want pesky residents. We say great cities come with great people.
The local government advisory board will submit their recommendations to the Minister Tony Simpson in mid-July. Kate Nuttall, WAMN News.
WA Treasurer Mike Nahan gave his forecast for state budget due in May this year. He warned that it will be hard for the government to keep the utility price increase around the rate of inflation, a promise which the Liberal Party made during the state election campaign. Joseph Barker has more.
WA Treasurer Dr Mike Nahan has forecasted the state budget with belt-tightening measures on government spending. The Treasurer said the government will plan to cut spending and hiring measures to cope with unstable revenue incomes. Iron ore prices and the high exchange rate of the Australian dollar were to blame for the reduction of government revenue.
We as a state need to have higher cash balances than we've run in the past. And that's a reform effort we have. We also have very high levels of debt that we're going to have to tackle going forward over the next few years.
During the state election last year, the Barnett government promised to keep the utility price increase within the rate of inflation. However, the Treasurer admitted on radio this week that it would be hard for the government to keep that promise.
I recognise Perth is an expensive place to live. I recognise people don't like to pay anything more for anything, including essential services, but we have to live within our means.
Opposition Shadow Treasurer Ben White said there is a structural problem within the government and blamed Premier Colin Barnett for spending more than the income. He said West Australian taxpayers will have to pay for the Barnett government's financial mismanagement.
Ultimately, the reality is we have a Premier, Mr Barnett, who's never shown any interest in meeting the fiscal targets he's set himself since becoming Premier in 2008, and now we have the latest incarnation of State Treasurer coming up with the same old ideas that Christian Porter came up with 3 years ago.
Joseph Barker, WAMN News.
The support for an Australian Republic has slumped to the lowest level in more than 3 decades. It coincides with the arrival in Australia of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, William and Kate. The latest figures released this week show that 51% of Australians support retention of the monarchy. To discuss this issue, Howard Sattler interviewed the WA convener of Australia for constitutional monarchy, Monica Holmes.
Monica, support for the monarchy is higher now than it's been in 3 decades in Australia. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel extremely happy because I think that the royal family as they are now, with all the young ones coming up and the babies being born, and then with such a modern outlook, that they really deserve it.
So you put it down to what they've done there. So William, Kate and Harry, do you?
Well, I think
Little George.
I think that they're revitalising the royal family really, because obviously the Queen and Prince Philip are getting older now and in their 90s or whatever.
It started with Diana, I think. How much do we owe her for this?
Oh, I think there's a huge amount of it that came from Diana. I think she was the first thing that actually happened in the royal family which really sort of turned things upside down and made it had to change to be more modern, the different outlook towards things.
Now the royals are all young, of course they're still in their 20s, and little George is only 18 months old. Less than that, he's 8 months old. So do you think that you're safe for your monarchs for decades to come now?
Well, I think so, with the attitude that they have adopted, because they've just acting like just normal young people, which I really like to see them do that.
The referendum in 1999, because your side won, our side lost. What's your message to us Republicans today?
Just enjoy what we've got while we've got it.
Give up trying to turn some
No,
Republic?
I wouldn't tell anyone to give up if they really had an ideology about something. But I really think if something's not broken, why do you worry about it? You know, if it doesn't need fixing, leave it.
What do you think about Quentin Bryce just before she left the position of Governor General, and just before she accepted a knighthood, a female knighthood, she became a dame, saying she was in favour of us becoming a republic? What do you think about that?
Well, she's entitled to her own opinion.
Which is the Governor General, she's the Queen's representative.
Yeah, I mean that is a very. It wouldn't be a protocol thing to actually do that, because you're really being quite insulting to someone in a way.
I've got to ask you, do you have a shrine to the royal family at your home?
No, I don't. I don't have anything in my home to do with the royal family at all.
Not even a picture of the Queen?
No. It's not because I don't like her, but I've got my own paintings up hanging around the place.
Okay. Thanks for your time today, Monica. Nice to talk to you.
It's lovely to talk to you too, Howard. Thank you.
Transport Minister Dean Natter inspected the completion of the Butler train station. The 7.5 kilometre train extension from Clarkson cost $240 million. The service is expected to begin at the end of the year.
We've come in 3 months ahead of schedule and $20 million under budget. What's expected patronage in the early days is around 2,000 a day. Well, it was scheduled to open at the end of this year, but we are ahead of schedule, and we're hoping to bring that forward up to 3 months early.
3 people have died in separate car crashes in regional WA on Thursday, despite police rolling out campaigns warning drivers before the long weekend. A 17-year-old man passed away after his Nissan Patrol SUV rolled over several times in Carnarvon. A 19-year-old man died after he crashed his Nissan Navara in Bruce Rock. And a 20-year-old man died at the scene after his Ford Falcon ute struck a tree and went up in flames in Collie. However, the 22-year-old passenger was rescued by a passing motorist and was taken to Bunbury Hospital. Police held a media conference this week and plead road users to obey the traffic rules.
We're sending our officers to all parts of the state, and but really we're pleading with motorists to think about their journey, don't drive when they're tired, don't speed, wear seat belts, and look out for other road users.
To World News, 5 people were murdered in a midnight house party in Canada. The 22-year-old alleged attacker was charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Canadian correspondent Dustin Lowe reports.
The worst mass murder case of Calgary happened on Tuesday, which Matthew DeGroot, a UFC student aged 22, is suspected of killing 5 of his peers during a house party at Butler Crescent on Brentwood. His parents met media on Thursday. His father, Douglas, stated they were shocked and devastated as well.
We will never recover from this, but the collective support has helped some of the pain. We hope someday we will have answers as to why this happened. Regardless, it won't bring the victims back.
He also described Matt as a person that's great, full of love, kindness and respect. After 2 days of investigation, the atmosphere here is still very intense. Although the restricted area has been reduced since Thursday, police's patrol is still at the place, while some of them keep going in and out the crime scene, bringing pieces of evidence to police cars and place marks on respective spots. Most Calgarians have also felt the sorrow. Memorial ceremony was held on Tuesday at UFC, where hundreds of students gathered and remembered the moment.
It's a test of our resilience, it's our test of our unity, and our ability to look high but we stand as one university family.
Dustin Lowe, WAM News.
That's all we have for you this week. Thanks for watching.
For the latest news, please hop onto our website, Facebook and Twitter. Happy Easter and good night.